one of the 26 quilt blocks in the Live Well, Live Strong quilt. And let me go ahead and show you the quilt pattern. The Live Well, Live Strong quilt pattern, for any of you that have not seen it, has 26 quilt blocks. It's a sampler quilt, and it's a skill building quilt, and we also focus on each one represents a different aspect of health and wellness for women. So the 60 by 60 inch size is right over here to my behind me, and then we've got the twin, king, queen, and full in negative space, and then we have the bed runner version. So we've got lots of different versions of it, and on top of that we also have the teeny tiny 20 inch by 20 inch version that is foundation paper piece. So we only have 3 blocks left. So this is the Belong quilt block. This last week we did the Boundaries quilt block, which was a shoe fly quilt block, and but the Belong quilt block, it just is a really, hello Delinda, how are you? The Belong quilt block is really an intersecting of different quilt blocks within here and different segments. So you can see we've got a segment here, we've got segments kind of going down in the middle, and then as you pull them all together, it's one huge community. And that's kind of like our lives, where we have lots of different communities that we belong to. Maybe a family community, maybe a neighborhood community. Hi, Liz. Hey, how about our online quilting community? And so we have many different communities, a work community. We have different communities that we belong to, but it's so important to feel that we belong to something and that we have that connection with something. So, and that's also terribly important during a pandemic too. So let me go ahead and show you how I am sewing mine together. And let me flip the camera screen here. So we have got, and I'm going to just kind of shift my camera a little bit. There we go. So I have some things already pre-sewn on this. You can see this quilt block is made in segments. So let me bring that up just a little bit more. I have put together 3 of these corner units. Hi, Jane. It's so good to see you. It's slightly chilly in South Wales. Wow. How is COVID going on where you are, Jane? I'm so curious how it's looking in Europe. So we have this one little segment right here, which is our corner block piece. There's 3 of those, and that's what we're going to sew together. And then right here is the center segment that kind of interlocks the different communities and the different blocks and how they interact with each other. So let's go ahead and start working on our one little corner piece right here in the corner. So let's start building this out. And also in the pattern, there is a yellow rim around this, and it does tell you to make sure each one of your corner pieces are trimmed down to 7 inches each. So to just make sure you've got a nice square block as you're building things together. We're going to put these 2 triangular pieces, the yellow and that gray, right sides together. And then we are going to go ahead and sew this through the sewing machine. And one thing that you need to do is, as you're building out all of these triangles, because there's lots of triangles and squares here, you're going to want to make sure that you've got a good stitching that's going on. And it's hard sometimes. Things will move and shift, or something isn't cut quite right. But that's why I have you always try to square up your quilt blocks on the corner units as you build it out. So let's go ahead and press this one open. Maybe I should turn on my little iron. I've got my big one turned on. So let's go ahead and press this open. I'm going to press this to the darker side. Get our iron here, your bigger iron. So you can see that right there. So how is everybody doing? How was your weekend? We had Ellie's little birthday party. Today is her 2nd birthday, and I actually get to watch her today. Her mommy's taken an exam, but we had a little birthday party for her yesterday. Jane, are you able to see your grandkids in South Wales right now? What are the rules like for you guys? So I'm now going to we're going to build this out so that we have, let me go ahead and move this a little bit over. Let's put this over on this piece right here. So we're going to make this, so it's like 2 triangles that are going to be stitched together to form a square unit. So let's go ahead and see there. I know, Ellie is so cute. Yeah, she's just so cute, and it was fun to celebrate her birthday. So, but we went and when I picked her up this morning, I picked up some little bundt cakes because they had quite a celebration at their house yesterday, but I picked up some bundt cakes. Her mommy has a big test today, and of course her dad is working full time. So anyway, so I am just helping out where I can, and we had a fun morning, and we'll continue to do that. So I went ahead and I added this triangle to our half square triangle unit right here. Okay, so we're adding another triangle to the side of each of these to get another half square triangle that we're going to sew together with this one. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off my cell phone ringer. That is Corey calling. He's pretty cute. He's probably wondering what the little girl's doing. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to place it right sides together. And when I'm doing this, let's go ahead and press this a little bit. Oh, I didn't heat that up. So when I do this, I am going to, let's go ahead and give that a good little press so it's nice and flat. But when I'm doing this, I want to show you where I'm matching up the points. Okay, Jane says we are still in full lockdown, but children aged 3 to 7 were allowed to return to schools today. Wonderful! Older school children and college universities are still closed. England and Scotland following their own rules. I am permitted to see my grandchildren who live near to me, and we are in a permitted bubble. Good! Oh, wow. Wow, that is a lot going on. Okay, so let's go ahead. That is such a lot going on. There are so many sacrifices that we've had to make, and everyone's had to make, you know, with this COVID. So, you know, fortunately, some cases are going down here in the United States, but of course, then we've got some of the mutations going on, so we still have to be careful. But it's important that we still have our communities and that we maintain our communities and we maintain belonging to communities. So you can see up here, when I first sewed this, I made sure this right-hand corner was completely square with the right-hand corner of this square, okay? And then I'm allowing my dog ears to hang off on the other sides. So remember, always at your 90-degree angle, match this to the other 90-degree angle when you're building these together. So let's go ahead and press this again. And then we're going to press this to that other navy blue triangle. So let's go ahead and we're going to put these right sides together. Now, you will notice right here that these triangles, they do not match exactly right, okay? This navy blue triangle is slightly larger than this triangle built out unit right here, okay? Oh, Jane, you got your first vaccine. Good job. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for you. Has anyone else been able to get their vaccine? I am just so hoping that Corey can get his sometime soon. At age 63, Utah has lowered it to 65, so we think they'll lower it pretty soon. Okay, so your triangles are not going to match. Do not be disturbed by the triangles being slightly different sizes. We still need this block to measure 7 inches at the end. So let's go ahead and lay this up here, and we're going to do our 1/4 inch seam right over here and seam these together. So yeah, it's just so good. And our quilting communities and our online communities, hasn't it just filled your soul as we've gone through this pandemic this last year? I'm just so glad that we've had each other and that we've been able to spend such great time together. Gosh, like 3 days a week. We've all been together doing these videos Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays through this last year. And I'm just very, very grateful for that. Okay, let's go ahead and open these. I'm going to try to open them so that my seam allowances are going over to the darker side, the navy blue. And let's open this up. And now I'm going to show you on my cutting mat. We're going to check the measurement of this unit and make sure it is 7 inches square. So I'm going to just set this over here for a minute. And let's bring over my cutting mat. So I am, instead of going, oh no. Oh, I turned something off. Oh, my video. My video went off. I'm so sorry, ladies. There, it's back on. Sorry about that. Okay, so here is my square. So now we're going to make sure that this is a good 7 inches. And you will see that your 7 inches has turned out pretty good with this block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got a pretty good square here. Now, if I do have any little sides that are just slightly off, I want to square this up, okay? So let's go ahead and bring off our little seam. Looks like I kind of had a narrower seam here and maybe a little bit more of a 1/4 inch over there. So I went a little wonky while I was doing the video. And sorry for the blackout. Yeah, Liz, it went blackout. Yes, you know what? I look forward to you guys. Okay, so now I'm going to just make sure I didn't really have to square up my other one. So this is probably good. So I'm going to just kind of make this square right here. But when you're sewing these together, you do want to kind of square up your blocks. Because remember, when you cut out a triangle, it could be slightly off. Or anything like that. So there's lots of different factors, and that's why I encourage you guys with the instructions that you square up your blocks before you go to putting everything together. Okay, so let's go ahead and now build this into our other unit. So let's bring this back over, and you can see right here, this is now going to finish off this unit at this section right here. So I'm going to put this, so you can see we've got row 1, row 2 right here, and it's amazing. It's so simple to go ahead and build these out. But belonging to something is one of our most basic human nature needs, and every person just needs to feel that they belong someplace. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put those right sides together and then sew it at a 1/4 inch seam. So let's bring that over and let that sew along. So you also want to make sure you've got several communities that you belong to, so that if you have one community that just goes a little wonky for a little bit, you've got other communities to rely on. So you do want to make sure that you kind of balance that out. And that is something I learned that was so important, even with people with special needs, that they have such a huge desire. So I'm going to place these right sides together. And we're going to use some pins here, and we're going to match up our seam allowances right here. So let's go ahead and get these matched up. So it is just so critically important to feel that you belong, and that anybody feel that they belong to different and various communities, and even youth and children and lots of different things. And you know, you kind of want to create different micro communities where you can feel like you can excel in, and where you can thrive in, and where it's a healthy environment for you too. So let's go ahead and match this up, because that's what helps us thrive. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and sew through here. You'll notice I haven't pinned all the way over to the edge of my fabric, and that way I can just kind of go ahead and let that just go right through the sewing machine at the 1/4 inch, and I won't have to stop and undo my pins there. Okay, so you guys, I love this quilt block. We only have 2 more quilt blocks. Luke is doing really good. He comes here every Monday and Wednesday, so today is a good Luke day, and he comes here straight from his day program, and we hang out and do some fun things. So we'll have like a little birthday cake for Ellie today with Luke, and then he goes to work, and then I take him over to his apartment and do some little things or drop off some things that I want to drop off for him, and he's doing so good. And he has so many neat micro communities that he belongs to that helps him feel like he belongs. And then we usually have him, so that's Monday and Wednesdays, and then we usually have him over on one of the weekend days, either to hang out with his friends here at the house, or he hangs out with us. So either way, we are so laid back. We just love spending time with him. Let's go ahead and match this other side, and we've got our Belong quilt block done. But boy, I remember being obsessed years ago with Luke learning how to read, and I said to this psychiatrist, oh, he's not going to have happiness in his adult life if he doesn't know how to read and have a good job. And the psychiatrist stopped me dead in my tracks and said, no, what you need to teach him how to do is to have social skills and how to interact with people in a healthy way, and for him to build those social skills, because his ability to maintain and keep relationships is what is going to make him feel happiness in his adulthood. So I thought that that was so interesting. So sometimes we do have to pause from things that we're doing and that we might be focused on and make sure we're balancing out our community environments in addition to other things too. So anyway, so let me go ahead and get this. And as grandparents, I can't tell you how neat it is and what an influence that we get to have on our grandchildren, and that be part of their community too, is also their grandparents, aunts and uncles and other people in addition to their school and sports communities. So or whatever other special interests they have. Okay, so you guys, there we are with our Belong quilt block. I love this quilt block. You've got 4 different triangle segments here that are interrelated with some crossover, and everything crosses over, but we do want to make sure that we're building healthy communities in different aspects of our lives. So let's go ahead and flip that camera around, and it is so wonderful. I'm so glad that I have you guys as part of a community for me, because you guys definitely sustain me, and I just love quilting with all of you. I can't wait to see what you guys are making. On Wednesday we will do the Belong quilt block in the teeny tiny version. So we've got the Belong quilt block right here. So it is just absolutely beautiful right here in this small sampler. So we're going to do that with a foundation paper piecing. So if you want to go ahead and see what that is like, that's great. Okay, love you guys. We'll see you a little bit later, and I'll be back on Wednesday at noon. Have a good one.